Rabbit, rabbit. Good morning, everyone. Happy June. So this is the time for my monthly nuts and bolts video. I'm Stephanie McCULLOUGH with Sofia Financial. And when I was a little kid, all my friends and I believed that if rabbit, rabbit was the first thing out of your mouth on the first day of a new month, you'd have good luck that month. So it occurred to me a few months ago, and I popped open a Facebook Live, and here we are. So today I wanted to talk about financial advisors. I'm a financial advisor. I'm a financial planner. There are a million financial advisors out there, and I've had a couple conversations with women recently that reminded me that to the general public, financial advisors seem like maybe a uniform group, right? Like maybe that term means one particular thing. But in truth, there are a zillion different kinds of financial advisors and different ways that they can be structured in their businesses, different things they can do for you. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and give you some knowledge there. My whole thing is always, you don't need to know all the answers. You need to know the questions to ask and have the guts to ask them. So I'm going to give you a few questions to ask. So this term financial advisor, right? It can mean a lot of different things. There are financial advisors who work for banks, who work for trust companies, who work for insurance companies, who work for big Wall Street firms, who work for small independent companies. They could call themselves financial advisors or investment advisors or wealth managers or financial planners. There's no regulation around what we call ourselves to the public. So that's one thing to know. And really, there's a large set of tasks or services that an advisor might do for you. And I think it's really important to, number one, get clear on what you want someone to do for you, right? So spend a little time asking yourself or your spouse, if you're doing this together, what tasks do we want to outsource to a professional? Kind of come up with your wish list of things that you want either professional advice in or you want someone else to take over for you. And then kind of go looking around for an advisor. If you already have an advisor, it's perfectly legitimate and fair to go back and ask these questions. So the questions I came up with as I was thinking about this are, number one, asking what services you provide. I had a conversation with a friend a couple weeks ago, and she was really frustrated with her financial advisor because they had not let her know of some tax issue that could potentially arise, and they ended up having a tax problem. And she was really frustrated about that, and she felt that it was the advisor's job to have warned her about this. I've actually heard a couple stories like this just recently. So I think it's important to ask, what are the services you're going to do for me, and what responsibilities are still on my plate. So getting clear on kind of that division of labor is important. Always ask your advisor, how do you get paid? It's not a rude question. How do you get paid? Sometimes an advisor is paid directly by the client. Sometimes they're paid by a financial services company through a commission built into a product. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It's just important to know that. Okay, let me say, there are good and bad in all scenarios, right? All different types of advisors I'm talking about, types of compensation structures, have good advisors and advisors who maybe do not have the purest of motives, let's say. So it's just important to know these things. When you ask about getting paid, it tells you a little bit about the incentives, right? How is this person incented to work? Is it about selling more product? Is it about serving more clients? Is it about having a long-term relationship with someone? That's kind of the behind the scenes of the question. And also if there's any conflicts of interest. There are always going to be conflicts of interest, right? You just kind of want to know what they are. So asking how you get paid is important. And then if there are investments involved, you want to ask, how are you going to invest? How do you invest your client's money? There are advisors who pick their own stocks and put a combination together. There are advisors who pick mutual funds. There are advisors who work with outside money managers to do that. And again, none of this is good or bad, right or wrong. You just want to know up front. And I think, again, you want to be clear on your own desires. How involved do you want to be in the investment process? Do you want to hand it over to someone and say, hey, take this off my plate, I'm good? Do you want to be fully informed of the decisions and what's going on, but let the advisor implement for you? Do you want to have a 50-50 collaboration on coming up with ideas and strategies and designing your own custom alignment of investments? Or do you want to be picking and doing the research on your own? All of those are perfectly legitimate. You just want to know, going into a relationship, how does this advisor work? And try to find someone who lines up with your goals. So if you want some homework this month, if you're working with an advisor, ask some of these questions, right? Even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, or just say, hey, you might have told me this up front, but remind me again, exactly what your services are, how you get paid, what you get paid, the amount. That's a perfectly legitimate question. And if you're thinking about working with an advisor, these come up with a list of questions you're going to ask when you meet with folks. That would be my homework. Rabbit, have a lovely month, everyone, and I'll see you soon.